Harambe YouTube, it is Charles here with another action figure unboxing. I am really excited about this one right here. On this day, I see clearly. I don't know the rest of the lyrics to his theme song, but here he is, Adam Copeland, the rated R superstar. This is the AEW Jazwares edition. I had to get my hands on this because when I started collecting, Edge, aka Adam Copeland, he was retired, and so I could not get my hands on a quality figure. What I did find was this throwback, this shambles, this monstrosity that you would not know who it was if it were not for the tights. I didn't pay too much for it. It was a $10 basic back when I got it. And it had to do, but now we have the AEW Jazwares Adam Copeland to make up for this thing. Whatever's in this box is going to be better than whatever is in my hand right now. And we'll get it out. We'll take a look at it. The way that I do these unboxings, we talk about appearance, which is definitely going to be an improvement upon this thing. We talk about articulation. Again, definitely going to be an improvement. And we talk about accessories. Being that this basic had no accessories, definitely going to be an improvement. And this scan, actually, of the basic that I'm making fun of here, I saw the reference photo. I will put a picture of the original packaging right here to show you the photo. And as you can see, the look he has is kind of a conniving. You know, he was called the ultimate opportunist back in his day, and the look they were going for were kind of this conniving, schemy smile. But what you got in this action figure just looks bored or high. I'm not sure, but it's not good. So anyway, out with the old, in with the new. Let's talk about, first off, the packaging. It's your basic AEW Jazwares Unrivaled packaging. We have the window here, and we have picture on one side, AEW logo on the other, and on the back we have a picture of Adam Copeland with the fake autograph here. It doesn't say where this attire is from. I think the attire that is on the actual action figure may be from his debut where he did the run-in. But it's clearly different than what's in the back, which is his ring gear. So I cannot tell you exactly what this look is based on off the top of my head. But on the back, like I said, we have the picture. And then we have the different action figures that come in this line. We have Adam Copeland, of course, right here. We have Ricky Starks, who has left AEW and is now known as Ricky Saints in WWE NXT. I will not be getting this action figure because I have the first AEW action figure of Ricky Starks, and it's not too much different. We have Willow Nightingale. I will be definitely on the hunt for this action figure. I would have gotten it this time, but it was out of stock wherever I checked. I checked Walmart.com. I checked Ringside Collectibles, where I got this from. Amazon could not find it, but as soon as this is back in stock, it's going to be back. It's going to be in my collection. It may be my big birthday gift. And my birthday is coming up in November, so that may be my big, my birthday I allow myself to spend a little bit extra on the action figure. We have Christian Cage. I have a Christian Cage action figure from, it was his first time in the AEW line. I don't like this attire with the brown leather jacket that he has with the TNT title, so I will not be getting this. There's Kill Switch. I actually have the original Luchasaurus figure, and Kill Switch was just pretty much Luchasaurus with everything green painted red, kind of a color inversion, so I'm not really going to be high on my priority list. I may get it for the novelty factor because he's gone back to his Luchasaurus gimmick. If I can find it discounted, I will get it. And then last but not least in this line, we have Swerve Strickland with the AEW Championship. I have a Swerve Strickland from AEW. So if I find it at a good price, I may pick it up, but it's not going to be high on my priority list. So without further ado, we talked about the packaging, and let's get to the main event. I am not a net on card collector, so we're just going to bust her wide open and get a look at this thing. I know I say this with every Jazwares unboxing, but I wish that the packaging was more user-friendly and that it'd be something that we could reuse and store. But pretty much once you get into the packaging, it is going to be all busted up. Here we go. Let's see, do we have any ties on the arms? Nope, looks like... Okay. Alright, so now we got them out of the packaging. Adam Copeland, let's get a good look at him here. Give you the spin around. So far, so good. This is a good looking action figure. Now when I saw it in different videos and even in the advertisements, I was not convinced by the facial scan. But I figured it may just be the way that it was captured on video, and I was hoping it would look better in person, and given the cursory look, it does look a lot better in person, so that is a relief. The hair throws me off a little bit, so let's talk about appearance. I'm going to get a drink here. So, as far as likeness to Adam Copeland, it is actually very good. You can tell that this is a more recent likeness of him. You have the wrinkles on the face, you have the aging, a lot different than the babyface version that we were introduced to in the WWE some 30 years ago, nearly. Man, it has been a while. But yeah, he really has deep wrinkles and age on his face. Not saying he's super old, it's just that's what happens with age. And he has a lot of character in his face that they really did capture with this facial scan here. I'm going to try to get this up close so you guys can see. Give you a good look at the face. You can see they went through great pains to capture that, and they did a good job. The painting, especially on the eyes, is a little bit wonky, but with all the details and everything, you're not going to get, you know, perfection with all of these details unless you're going to go to a higher price point. But I think working with the medium they had, price point that it comes out with, very, very good facial likeness. The hair is it's a little bit off. He has kind of more of a rough mullet with not so much a defined part. Maybe when he first debuted for AEW, it may have been like this, but I don't remember that. I remember him having that kind of rough mullet with the buzz, with the medium buzz on top, and the beard has definitely a lot more gray in it, as does the hair. And so that's the face, and then going down here we have a leather vest. A basic leather vest. There's really no designs on it. Leather vest, zipper in the front, buttons on the two pockets here, all flat back, black except for the middle pieces. And I am seeing something that it's a small detail, but I have not seen it on a Jazwares action figure, and so this may be kind of a big deal because it's the first one in my collection to have this detail, and it may seem like a weird detail, but it's something that Mattel has always done and Jazwares just did not do, and that is body hair. And so that is a pleasant surprise, mainly because it adds to the character and what this person looks like. I remember when I first got the Miro action figure from AEW. If you don't know, Miro is Rusev in the WWE. And one thing about him that made him stand out, of course, is his hulking size, but not just that, his body hair, his chest hair, that made him stand out, away from other wrestlers. And it was a big part of his character. And with him and Samoa Joe, Jazwares did nothing there. So it is an interesting change that they actually did that. And I mean, and you can tell it looks a little bit cartoony and wonky. Okay, I'm not sure if maybe it would have been better if they wouldn't have. Maybe that is why Jazwares has never ventured into that. I'll let you guys get a closer look at this if I can. Here we go. But yeah, get a look at that. That is, you can see it's a decent attempt, but it is very, very, when you get up close, it's very wonky and cartoony and two-dimensional. It doesn't look like a lot of work went into it, but from a distance, it works. The tattoos are there, all of them, and they're actually sized appropriately. That's one thing I noticed when I was comparing it to the basic action figure, is that with Mattel, especially on their basic action figures, the tattoos always seem to be smaller proportionally for some reason. But it looks like they're in proper proportion on this action figure. Flat black pants, almost maroon colored boots. So that is the appearance. Let's talk about articulation. The articulation is pretty standard as far as AEW Jazwares goes. The head is on a ball joint. It doesn't look like we have the pronounced neck that you see with a lot of the newer figures that you get forward and backward movement. It's just a simple ball joint, which is fine by me. We have the ball joint on the shoulders, cut between the shoulder and the bicep, double jointed pinned elbows, and the hands that go back and forth and all the way around. And then the torso is on a swivel, and the hips are on a swivel. It's a little bit looser than a lot of the hips, but still you don't get too much horizontal movement there. And then the legs, between the hip and the leg, is a ball joint. We have a thigh cut for horizontal movement, double jointed pinned knees, which are actually they move pretty well out of the box. Usually I have to heat them up and get them moving here, but these joints, they work great. They're loose, but they're not flimsy. So you can stand them up very easily, but they're not hard to get moving at all. Do we have, we have a cut on the calf for horizontal movement there, and then the feet go forward and backwards, and you have a slight left to right with the feet. And so that's the articulation, and now we're going to move on to accessories, which we have the AEW microphone, which is your standard AEW microphone. I got one of these with MJF, and I think I have another AEW microphone. We have an open hand here, and then we have, that hand goes with the other's hand, and then we have the slightly closed hand for holding the microphone. And so I think this would be from his debut, since it comes with a microphone. And then we have another accessory that I did not notice until I actually got the box open. And that is the t-shirt that was in the back of the box. It says Rated R era, with Adam Copeland being the Rated R superstar. Funny thing about that actually is WWE, they do a great job of protecting intellectual property. And so since in WWE he was known as Edge, the Rated R superstar, WWE had that copyrighted, so he went by his actual name, Adam Copeland. But when he debuted, he had the same theme song with a slight variation because WWE didn't trademark it. And he was able to go by the Rated R superstar, Adam Copeland, because WWE didn't trademark that. What it was in the beginning of the song, it was, you would hear a female voice say, "You think you know me?" And then we cut into the song, "On this day, I see clearly." I think it's by Alter Bridge, if I'm not mistaken. And he uses the same song, but instead of the voice at the beginning that says, "You think you know me," he just changed that out for his wife, Beth Copeland. And she re-recorded the "You think you know me," and then it goes right back into his theme. And so I thought that was kind of a pretty cool thing, that he gets to be virtually the same character he was in the WWE, with the familiar theme song and nickname. And the shirt is a soft goods shirt, goes on very easily, velcros in the back. So that's a neat little accessory. Alright, so now that we got him out of the package, let's do a little comparison here. We'll start off with the Edge basic action figure. To be fair, like I said, this is a lower price point. It was put out, I believe, 2021, 2022. And it is from a younger version of him. But if you look, the height is virtually identical. He is about 6'5". And then, so yeah, between Mattel and Jazwares so far, it is pretty, as far as scale goes, it's pretty good. And then you look at the tattoos on the right arm, you will see what I was talking about with the scaling issue of tattoos. If you look here, the star on the upper shoulder is very, very much smaller on the basic action figure. Now the bicep tattoos, oddly enough, look almost identical, same size and everything else. But there is a little bit more color to the Jazwares version. And then if we go over to the left side, so let's get him going here. You see the shoulder tattoo is slightly bigger on the Jazwares, and the bicep tattoo on that side is a new addition, so there's nothing to compare there. But you see the Jazwares tattoo more brightly colored, a little bit larger. I think it fits more to proportion. In the facial scans, I mean, there's really no comparison. You know, it is the same character set, let's say some 15 to 20 years apart, but you could tell that there was little effort put into the basic head sculpt. It was something they did off of a picture, and it's fairly obvious. But to be fair, everything else outside of the head sculpt looks pretty good on the WWE basic. But this is a new, you know, the AEW Jazwares is a newer figure made with more modern techniques and at a higher price point. Maybe I will see if I can get my hands on a WWE Elite Edge action figure to do a more fair comparison, because it is really like comparing a generic store brand to something premium. So now we got that out of the way. Let's get him paired up with his tag team partner, Christian Cage. And as far as scale goes, this is the same company. This is the Jazwares Christian Cage. And now Christian Cage is listed at 6'1" or 6'2". And you see, yeah, okay, fair enough. I thought there would be more of a dramatic height difference. But yeah, that's about correct. You got about 3 or 4 inches on him. Yeah, these guys recently started tag teaming together at the last pay-per-view. I believe it was All Out, where they defeated FTR, if I'm not mistaken. And in that match, we had a special run-in by Mrs. Beth Copeland, represented here by her AEW action figure of Beth Phoenix. Had to bring her out, get the whole family going here. But yeah, this is Mrs. Copeland right here. And I'm hoping that since she made an appearance at AEW, maybe she will get an AEW action figure I could throw together with these two guys right here. So that is the Adam Copeland AEW, I believe it's the Unrivaled collection action figure. He does have I think it may be a ringside exclusive action figure. It comes with a big coat, entrance jacket, and a few more accessories, a little bit more high end. But I think for, the $20 price point of this guy right here, it is a great action figure. The head scan looks a lot better once you get it in your hand as opposed to looking at it via picture or video. I like the scaling of the tattoos and the build, of course, the facial definition. The chest hair and body hair is a little bit wonky. I see why Jazwares avoided doing that. Hopefully they can figure that technology out. But I would suggest in the future, until they can get it right, maybe not do it. And the accessories, I mean, you get a coat, you get the entrance vest, and a t-shirt, an extra hand, and a microphone. You cannot complain about that. I think, a lot of these figures, they come with extra heads. But I don't know. I don't think you need that with Adam Copeland, especially with this head sculpt here. It's a very quality sculpt, except for they can maybe add some gray hair in there and spend a little bit more time getting the hair cut right. But I am very, very happy with this action figure. I would give it a C+ or a B, especially considering it's a first outing. I would expect these things to get better as time goes on. And who knows, if I can't get the Willow Nightingale for my big November gift for myself, I may shell out the extra few dollars and get the Supreme Adam Copeland action figure with all the bells and whistles, and we'll do a comparison of that. Who knows, tune in around mid-November and you will see where that goes. Until then, thank you for watching. Keep buying them action figures. You can get this guy where I got him at ringsidecollectibles.com. If you don't have a lot of money to spend, always check the damaged packaging section. Because if you're not a mint on-card collector like I'm not, you can get some great deals in that damaged packaging section. So I will see you guys next time.